awesome night. Just told the team in there, when your quarterback goes 25 of 27 for 345 yards, you're going to win most football games. I don't care who you're playing. He's a special talent. He's an elite talent. You saw that tonight. There's not a quarterback in the country I'd rather have than that guy. I promise you that. And to be able to get so many of our young guys in there tonight, it was awesome. Just so happy for them. They worked their tails off. Nick Harbor caught that touchdown and came over and hugged me and said, "Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity." I'm like, dude, thank you for coming here. I should be thanking you for giving me the opportunity to coach you. But Lenoris, the excitement he had on that touchdown pass, it's really cool to see. We got some great young men in our program, and proud of them and excited that they were able to get out there and have some success tonight, and then really disappointed with the way we finished the game. That's bull crap. We haven't had a turnover all season, and we go in there and we turn the ball over, look bad doing it. We get a holding penalty on a naked. I don't know if I've seen that, where it's a naked boot. You're just running to the right and then booting to the left, and we get a holding penalty. That's hard to do. And then to give up a touchdown, we emptied the sideline. Everybody, I think, played tonight for the most part, but still, when those guys go in, they're expected to perform, and disappointed with that. But a lot to build on, a lot to correct. We've got a lot that we have to improve before next week, but great win against a really, really good team. Those guys are going to win a lot of football games this year. I've got a ton of respect for Coach Hendricks and his program and the way they do things, and they play their butts off, and you saw that tonight. But great win for us. Questions, David?
Shane, I know it's right after the game, but updates on Amarian and Keenan and maybe John Darius Morgan. I think you left with that.
Yeah, they told me that John Darius fell on his wrist. That one literally just happened, so I don't really know. They just told me he fell on his wrist. We lost Bradley Dunn earlier in the game. He's on a couple of our special teams. I'm not really sure about him. AB's got a little bit of a hamstring, I think. He wanted to go back in, but just didn't feel right putting him in the game. Keenan, I think, has got a little bit of an upper body injury, but should be fine.
John. All the talk coming into this was on the offensive line. How did you feel like they played? What were some of the things y'all did to try to help them out? And also, you got in a couple of freshmen early with Tree and Trevon. How did you see them perform?
Leave it to you, John. You're going to find a way to answer three questions or ask three questions in one. Let me see. For offensive line, I thought they did well. Thought they protected well for the most part. We did some decent things in the run game. Most disappointing thing was probably the penalties. That was sloppy at the end of the game. Like I said, we had a holding penalty on a naked boot, and then we had the drive where Luke was at quarterback, I believe, and we had two holding penalties on that drive where we're moving the ball. And then we have two holding penalties, which was disappointing. And I think one of them was on the backside of a counter, which no reason for that to happen. So we got to clean up the penalties, but I thought they protected well. That's a defensive front. Obviously, we're going to see better, but they got some guys with some size that can rush the passer up front. So I thought they did a good job. Tree and Tro were great coming in there. We got Jatavius Shivers in at the end of the game, too, so that's three true freshmen that played on the offensive line. Our plan going into the game, John, was to get Tro and Tree in there by the second series, unless the first series was just a quick 3-and-out. So they all, by the third series, so I think Tro went in the second series and Tree was in there shortly thereafter. Both those guys played a lot. And as far as what to help them, we did some things. A lot of the things we did last week, just tried to maybe chip a little bit more to help the tackles out, move the pocket a little bit. We wanted to get the ball on the perimeter to me, a perimeter pass is a run for us in a lot of ways. And we got to block better on the perimeter. But honestly, we didn't do a ton. We did some empty protection tonight. We did some, basic six-man protection, and those guys held up pretty good, and they'll be better for it. Was that all three of them? Yes. I'm in mid-season form, though, to remember that.
Yeah, Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like early on there was perhaps not looking as much downfield, and then kind of a change there right at the end of the first half. Just kind of what went into that strategy, and what made you want to do the change there right at the end?
Yeah, early in the game was certainly trying to run the ball and get the ball on the perimeter, make them tackle, our playmakers in space. So that was certainly the plan. We had some downfield throws called. One of them, I think we rolled to the right early in the game, and Spencer, the ball in the flat came wide open, but that was a play that we were going to try and throw the ball downfield. So it was one of those that, we knew we needed to run past them at some point. Wanted to get the ball on the perimeter, and that was probably the biggest thing, just early in the game, just get the ball out on the perimeter and let those guys make some plays, and then as the game goes, let's take our shots and throw it downfield, and they certainly did.
You mentioned the freshman before, but what did you see from Sellers in those 2 drives out there, and what did you tell him after that first touchdown pass?
I thought he looked pretty dang good. I don't know about you. He was awesome. He's a tough kid. I mean, running the ball, he's a load to bring down. So he's a weapon running the ball, and then that throw that he had was pretty dang impressive. The throw that he made for the touchdown. Dowell's on the headphones just saying, just run it, and then he rears back and throws that thing. I thought he was going to throw it into the cockpit, but Tyshawn Russell came out of nowhere and made that play. I think it was Tyshawn on that one. But Lenoris is just a gamer. You guys saw it in the spring game when he gets in there. The moment's not too big for him. He's young. He made some mistakes. He'll continue to get better. But he was just – I really didn't have a chance to say anything to him because he came off the field after throwing that touchdown, and I think giddy is probably the word to use. I mean, he was just so excited and so happy for him. And I told him, Nick, all those guys, they worked their butts off in practice, and they're great kids. I mean, they are great young men that no one works harder than those 2 guys. We have a lot of hard workers, don't get me wrong, but those 2 guys, the amount of extra time they spend in the building, they're just so appreciative for everything and proud to coach them.
To kind of keep it in that same vein, Lenoris connects with Nick and Tyshawn, 2 other freshmen. What is the feeling in sort of seeing some of that recruiting start to actually pay off on the field here tonight?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I've told you guys, we got a lot of good young players, and that will continue to get better each and every game. And the other thing I love too is that we had some elite high school juniors and seniors that were here tonight that were sitting down there in that corner section by our tunnel that got to see all of those young freshmen come out there and make plays. So couldn't be more excited about the way that recruiting has gone to this point, the way that it's going right now, and we're a young team that will continue to get better each and every week. And it's exciting. We've got some older guys that did some nice things tonight, and then we've got a lot of young guys that did some really nice things too.
The Xavier-Spencer connection looked pretty strong again tonight for the 2nd straight game. How would you describe their chemistry so far, and how big is that to have such a strong connection between those 2 after the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's fantastic. And it goes back again to just how those guys work. Xavier Leggett, I think I said it on the radio show the other night, but we track our guys, how fast they run, GPS numbers, and if you run 20 miles an hour, that's really fast. And Xavier Leggett last week against UNC ran 21 miles per hour at one point in the game, which you expect in a game. But then he came back in practice on Tuesday when it's 90 whatever degrees, and he ran 21 miles an hour again. And then he came back the next day on Wednesday and ran like 20.5 miles per hour. So my point is, the guy practices his butt off, and he doesn't take plays off in practice. And it's a great example for all of our players and all of our young guys. And Spencer trusts him, obviously, because he knows that Xavier's not going to take a play off. And he's covering punts as well for us. He's in the backfield for us some tonight. So that's a great, great combination that he and Spencer have, along with Juice and Trey Knox and all of our guys. And those guys have put a lot of time into it, and will continue to get better.
Shane, 2 for you. I don't think Juice played a ton of snaps tonight. Was that just kind of limiting him with coming off that injury?
Not necessarily. It wasn't the plan going in. We wanted to certainly play our young guys, Nick and some of those other receivers and Omega, but it wasn't the plan to limit him going in.
And I guess you mentioned that drive there going into halftime. Who makes that call? Because a lot of teams might sit on that and take a knee and just take that 6-point lead. Who made the call to make that decision to go forward? And I guess how pleased were you with it with the touchdown drive?
That would be the head coach. I'm not going to come in here in a post-game press conference and blame that one on Dow that he did something I didn't want him to do. You talking about like throwing the ball?
Yeah, just pushing the ball downfield and not.
Yeah, so we used our timeouts, and I told him we scored, And I told Dow, I said, look, I don't know what Furman's going to do here, but if they try and get a drive, we've got a timeout left, and we'll use it to make them punt. We got a great stop on I think it was 3rd and short, 1 and 2, something like that. We got the timeout, we got the punt, and then certainly before they punted, I'm on the headphones talking to Dow, and we're talking about, okay, here are our plays. We have no timeouts left. We're going to have, we need to get to this point to get in field goal range. I think that we hit the explosive on the first play, I believe, and then we had the pass interference, if I'm not mistaken. And then you get down there, and at that point, I believe it was 7 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. So it was not a lot of time. So I told Spencer, look, this has got to be like a bang bang play. We can't screw around and wait. This is you catch it, you throw it, and if we don't get it, we'll kick a field goal. If it's not there, just throw it out of the end zone. Spencer did an awesome job right there. Really good situational football. We were hoping to get a field goal, but I trust Spencer in those situations at all times, and he's smart. And also, we spend a lot of time practicing those scenarios. We do 2-minute offense in practice on Sunday nights, starting offense versus the starting defense, and we do it on Thursdays in practice as well. So we work 2-minute offense and defense, good on good, twice a week, and then it's something that I love situational football. So I'm always watching other games and trying to show other teams screwing stuff up, and I've got things to show in our team meeting on Tuesday morning of teams from last weekend that botched some in the game situations and things like that, just so we can learn from it and be able to execute when we have those opportunities.
What are your thoughts on the way Mario ran the ball and what y'all were able to get out?
Yeah, he did a good job. Thought he ran hard. He's a guy that we need to continue to get in there. And we had planned on playing him last week, and as y'all know, the way the game went, it was tough to get him in there. But he did a good job. He works hard, and he's got a low center of gravity, and he's a powerful guy that's hard to bring down. He's got great contact balance too. When he gets hit, he's able to keep his balance and stay on his feet. And he's a guy that we need to continue to find ways to get in the game.
What were your thoughts on Spencer connecting with Luke on his first touchdown catch of his career?
That's another one. Another guy that works his tail off in Luke and came wide open, and great catch, great throw, great catch, and they got great chemistry. Luke's proud of him. Y'all saw him. He played quarterback tonight. He played on special teams tonight. He played receiver tonight. It's not many guys that's going to go play really well at receiver and then go in the game and play quarterback as well like he did. He's just a great football player, and he's another one. He works hard in practice. He's a leader on our team. Football is important to him. He loves to play. He loves to compete, and he's in those quarterback meetings during the week. So he's playing receiver, but he's in the quarterback meetings each day. So he's got great chemistry with Spencer, obviously, from being in those meetings and kind of hearing how Dow's coaching stuff and what's expected of him.
Going off of that, speaking of Luke, what do you hope that the younger players can see from him, a guy that's willing to do any and everything for this team, and what does he mean to this program?
He's just so valuable. The guy loves South Carolina. Whatever role you give him, he embraces it. It's a great example for all of our guys. He works, and he competes. He's a leader. And just he wants what's best for the football team. When you talk about these opportunities he's getting, it's not I'm a quarterback. It's like, heck yeah, let's go. And glad he's on our team and on our side, and give some credit to. Part of the reason that Luke played as much as he did last week at receiver was we weren't Eddie Lewis. We were kind of waiting on him. We needed to see more from him, and he came out there tonight and did some really good stuff. Caught 6 balls and had a nice night. So we got to continue to develop depth in that receiver room, and we are, as guys like Luke and Eddie and Nick and all these other guys continue to come along. It's kind of like the perfect, if you could draw up the scenario. You don't love facing adversity like we did, but we faced some adversity early in the game, and our guys, nobody, panicked. Nobody, we talked about it in the coaching staff meeting this morning that, if things don't, they got a good team, and if things don't go the way we want them to early, just hang in there. We got the better team. Just keep playing. Nobody panic and keep poised and confident. So we faced some adversity, so we were able to respond. Our best players played really well, so that was good. And then being able to get as many young guys in there also where we can go back. They got game experience, and they learn from it, so they know the speed of the game in a lot of ways. No, don't get me wrong, it's going to ramp up a lot here starting next week, the speed of the game. But for those guys to be able to get experience and play meaningful snaps was really good. And it's like I told a couple of them, obviously the new entrants coming out of the locker room was awesome. So thanks to Coach Tanner and Chance Miller and everybody for allowing that for our players. I mean, that was a really exciting way to start. And then 2001, stadium is rocking. So when those freshmen came out of 2001, I asked a few of them, did you your pants? And when you came out of there, and they all said they were good. So I said, well, it's easy from here on out. Like, if you can get through that, let's go play ball. It's easy now. So it was good. Now they know, and they'll be better for it.